I wanted to point out an interesting fact about Uncle Byron. So I liked Uncle Byron's voice actor. There are a couple of lines here and there that I thought were a little sing-songy, but it totally fit his character, so I thought he delivered.
Oh, Clive, my dear boy, it's really you. You always were fond of that scene from The Saint in the Sanctuary. Never did let me play Sir Crandall.
Everybody was good, remember? Like, it's hard to be critical because everybody was good, Uncle Byron included.
He was like a jolly old rich pirate, kind of. And I loved it.
Yeah, it's great. And there's an interesting fact behind him, actually. So the credits for Uncle Byron, there's actually 2 English voice credits for the same character because, unfortunately, the original casted actor, Stephen Critchlow, I probably am saying his last name wrong. It's spelled Critchlow. It could be like Critchlow or something like that. But he passed away from cancer during production.
Oh, wow.
So Ewan Bailey was added to the cast. And I remember when Stephen died, because he was also the voice of Count Edmont, who is one of the Lords of the Four High Houses in Heaven's Word, the expansion of Final Fantasy XIV, right? Which is actually my favorite expansion in the game.
Do not worry yourself on my account. 'Tis true that Ishgard's first thought has ever been the war effort, hence the closing of our borders. Yet it is in troubled times most of all that men should seek allies, don't you think?
I think his character was also the narrator of that whole story, if I remember correctly, and he was absolutely fantastic.
With memories of the lost and dreams of redemption, with hope yet in their hearts, they came.
Like so good. So it makes sense that they would cast him again in this. And since Final Fantasy XIV is an MMO, when he died, people held vigils to him outside of his character's home in the game, which was actually really cool to see. There would be so many characters just standing out there paying homage to him, which was great.
So now that you bring that up, the same exact thing happened in Destiny 2 when Lance Reddick died.
Oh, I totally believe it.
His character is like a permanent post in the game. Characters just parked their in-player characters in there and had vigils for hours.
And I think that's actually really cool. Like, I think people who don't play games may not understand that, but to people who play games, that's a nice tribute. You're actually dedicating your time, and that little character represents you. And to gather like that, to pay respects, I think is something. I saw the exact same thing when, I don't remember his name, but the Japanese designer of the original Dark Knight kind of character, I can't remember who he was when he died. There was a huge tribute to him in Final Fantasy XIV, and I think that's really cool. But there was one for Stephen as well. And as far as Uncle Byron goes, though, in Final Fantasy XVI, it is unclear if they used some of Stephen's original acting or if it was all done by Ewan Bailey, who was the replacement actor. In listening to it, it sounded like Ewan was pretty much the voice actor for the whole game, but they probably wanted to give credit out of respect to Stephen as well. That's at least how I think it went down. It's hard to know for sure because they do have somewhat similar voices.
Clive, my boy! Tap a cask and stoke the ovens for your favourite uncle is here!